Welcome to week 3 of our course, Nature-Based Approaches for Early Childhood Education and After School. I'm so excited about all the things that I've been reading. The submissions for your weekly reflections have been wonderful. Thank you so much. And the lively discussion in the discussion forum has been great as well. So this week we are diving into a really important topic and kind of one that I don't know that we can even do justice in just a single week, but we're going to give it a try. We're looking this week at the methods and teaching practices for nature-based programs. And of course, this is, a huge topic, and we're just going to sort of just begin talking about it. And so I do want to, I hope this sets, a nice foundation for our understanding of the topic, but for you to also understand that this is just the beginning. And so your work this week, you'll be reading in our textbook, which I love. The textbook is really it's hard. It was very hard for me actually to select a textbook for this course. I knew that I wanted it to be low cost so that, it wasn't a really expensive textbook. But I also wanted something that was just, that could be a companion along your journey and your teaching practices. There's not a lot of fluff in the textbook. It's kind of to the point, and I think that is great. And, brevity and keeping it short and concise is really good. However, the drawback to it is that we don't have a lot of the examples that we want to see. So this week for thinking about our teaching methods, what we're going to do is each of you are going to select a part of the reading from the textbook this week. We're going to look at these 4 main areas, and then within those, the teaching practices that they suggest, we're going to provide an example. So I think it'll make more sense once you've read the book and you have your book by your side. So when they're talking about the 4 areas we're going to focus in on are role of nature in the curriculum, focus on outdoor learning, emergent and play-based curriculum, and then community of capable learners. So those 4 areas are the areas that we're going to hone in on this week. And then each of you you're going to pick one of those 4 areas. And then under that area, you'll be able to, look at the numbered items, and you're picking just one of those numbered items. And of course, it would be handy if I, maybe gave a good example. So if you can pull your textbook out, and of course it's recorded, so you can just hit pause and go find your textbook. But when it's talking about the role of the curriculum, let's see what page we're on here. Okay, so if you go to page 24, role of nature in the curriculum. So let's say that that was the section that you decided you were interested in. And then when you look under there, there's numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 different sections. You're going to pick just one of those. Now, the idea is that we each pick something different so that we kind of cover. This technique is called jigsawing, where we each take a little piece of the article, or in our case, the textbook, and we read it and then kind of add to it. And so if we all pick the same one, then it's not as comprehensive. So try to notice who's already posted in the forum. And if you want to kind of claim a section like we did last week with the theorist, if you want to claim a section and say, I want to do role of the curriculum number 3, you could just put that in the forum, in the discussion forum, and then you kind of saved it for yours. Then you can do the work for it and then come back when you're ready and do the discussion forum. So for that example, role of the curriculum number 3, it says classroom activities cross boundaries between indoor and outdoor learning environments and between different types of outdoor environments. So what you would do in the forum is you would just describe in your own words what that means to you, and then you would provide an example. And so those of you who are already teaching, who are already in the workforce, you can hopefully have an example, pick one that you could think of an example that you want to share with your classmates. But when you share your example, can you be sure to say what age group that you are talking about? this will kind of, and put that at the beginning of your description. So that way, if you, let's say you're an infant teacher, you might scroll through the discussion forum and kind of find the ones that are other infant teachers. Or if you work with, your family home provider, put that, or worked with mixed age or whatever. But what I want to be sure is that this course is meant for early childhood. So that is defined by NACI as 0 to 8. And it's also after school programs, or out of school time. And so that might be, before school, after school, summer camps, extended learning opportunities for children. So we want to make sure that the course, I want to make sure that the course is relevant for your work. So this, as you put it in the forum, if you can highlight what grade, not necessarily grade, but what age group or which kind of age band that you are thinking of this activity. Many of the activities can span many different age bands, but it would make the forum a little easier to read, I feel like, if we listed that as well. Okay, so that's the discussion forum. There's written directions also in Canvas under the discussion forum. So you can always, read a little bit more there. If something's not clear, as always, email me and I can help clarify it for you. So one of the things that I also wanted to mention is the like sort of the housekeeping. Our class, the new module opens officially on Tuesday each week. So the deadlines are kind of set up so that they'll be predictable. So by Friday, the discussion forum, your original post is due on Friday, and then your follow-up to your peers is on by Sunday at midnight. And so those are two consistent deadlines, and that those will stay the same throughout the course. So that can kind of help you pace your week as far as reading what's in there or watching the videos. This week there's this video that you're watching, and one other video, or maybe two, I can't quite remember. Sometimes I have a hard time picking. I've been watching lots of different resources and thinking about where, does it fit this week or is it better in a different week? So that way you can kind of pace yourself. So you'll have the discussion forum, and then you'll have your reflection assignments, and the reflections are due on Sunday. What I want you to know is that the discussion forum closes, and some of you found that out because you're like, oh, I logged in on Monday and I wasn't able to post anything. Well, it was really clear in the syllabus and it's clear in the forum itself, but that'll be consistent. And the reason that is, and I like to explain it so it's not just that, I'm being mean or something like that, but I like to make the analogy. If you were, if there was a conference happening this weekend at the Hilton, and, the conference was happening from Friday through Sunday, and, it was a lively conference. The topics were really interesting. There's great conversation happening. People were sharing what they knew and they were talking amongst each other, and then you showed up on Monday. Well, the conference is gone. You might bring a poster, or you might stand there and share everything that, this great information. But if everybody is already finished with that week or finished with that conference, then it doesn't have the same impact that when we're doing it at the same time. So that's the reason why the discussion forums close. So each week, aim to meet both of those deadlines, both Friday and Sunday. There is a little grace there if, on Friday night, you're just like, I can't pull it off, but I'm going to wake up early and I'm going to post early Saturday morning. I'm totally comfortable with that. But if you're posting, past Saturday morning, then people don't have the time to engage with it. So if you log in on Sunday and you're like, oh, I'm just going to quickly add my original post on Sunday night, and then I'm going to comment on my peers post, it's like showing up to that conference when people are packing up their bags and headed out the door. You didn't have that same engagement. So the idea in the discussion forum is that we have this engaged dialogue, and that's the reason why we have the deadlines. So hopefully that lands well, and hopefully that makes sense to you, but that will be consistent. Okay, so the feels a little more like housekeeping details than the content that really I wanted to share, but I think it's important that, we're at the beginning of the semester, and, I want you to feel comfortable, understand how the flow of the week happens, and the as far as the modules themselves, my aim will be to have the modules, the text part of the module, I'm going to aim to have that open on Sundays. So those of you who want to work ahead, I know who you are because you email me and go, wait a minute, I want to get started. I will have the text of it posted on Sunday. But these videos that I do plan on making a short video most weeks, I won't have that posted until Tuesday because I really, most of the time, it's going to be more of a dialogue between I want to have read the discussion, the previous discussion forum, and your reflections before I create the videos. And so that's the timing, that's the time frame that I'm aiming for. So on Sundays, you can look for the text part of the modules to open, like the notes and what the 2 assignments are going to be for the week. And then make sure, if you check in early, just make sure you circle back so that you can get the video. My aim for those videos will be to have them up by early afternoon on Tuesday is kind of the goal. So I hope that time frame works for you. I really, truly have been enjoying this semester. I'm delighted in the variety of students that we have enrolled. We have students who are enrolled who work with infants all the way through adolescence. We have students who are brand new to education and ones who've been in the field for 30 years. We have folks who never had even heard of nature-based approaches and signed up because their CCV advisor was like, hey, this is an elective and this could work for you finishing your degree. And they're like, okay, I'll try it out. So this is all brand new. And we have other people who are very seasoned and you have lots of experience, whether it's with gardening with children or farming with children or doing bushcraft and wildcraft things with children. So we have a wide range. And I love that. And I really encourage you to share your that discussion forum is like, share your knowledge, tell other people what's working for you or what's not working or what you have questions about. And in those written reflections, those are just between you and I. So that's those could be a great way where you're like, this is really not clear to me, or this isn't, find this a little bit challenging. And so hopefully as we go through the semester, we learn in those edges. And so one of the books that I love that I didn't bring with me today, it's over on my bookshelf, but is the Coyote's Guide to Nature Awareness. And in the Coyote's Guide, they talk about how it's on the edges of the forest that there's, lots of interesting things happening. And it's a great analogy for this idea of like, I'm comfortable in how I teach, but I want to kind of try some things that I haven't tried before. I want to try, I want to let go of the reins a little bit and I want to, see what it's like, but bringing in more natural loose parts and seeing how the kids will engage with it. And kind of, our growing edge are in those spaces where we're not 100% sure if this is the right thing for us or not. But it can be really powerful. So those I feel like this video is more of like the housekeeping video, but hopefully that answers some of your questions. And as always, if you have questions, send me an email, and I am doing my best to respond within 24 hours so that your answers come quickly, so you're not waiting. And I'm trying to be active in the discussion forum as well on a daily basis, most days. And so hopefully you're feeling supported and you're excited about this class. The feedback and the reflection too was really positive. People were like, I've already learned so much, and we're only into week 2, which was, I heard that multiple times, which was really awesome feedback. So I am here for you, and even though it's a virtual class, don't feel like you're going at it alone. Couple of other quick things. You're going to read a great article called Teaching Outside 101. That's from Bonnievale Environmental Education Center. It's a place in Brattleboro, West Brattleboro, I believe, Vermont. And this was a resource that they created around in 2020 for it's like a general resource for people just getting started in teaching outside. And so I thought this is a really good sort of foundational resource for us to look at. And so you're going to read that this week. I really like the way that it's laid out. I feel like it really has taken lots of information and boiled it down. And maybe that is a good companion to this week, is kind of what I was thinking. The other thing that I mentioned in the written notes for week 3 is that there's a 6-minute video that you're going to watch from Rachel Larimore. Rachel Larimore is a wonderful person. She has her PhD now, I do believe. On her first books, I don't know exactly when she got it, but she does have a PhD. But the video that we watch, I am going to share videos that I've curated, meaning I've watched a bunch of them and I picked out what I thought was the best. This one is her talking to the camera, which is what I'm doing as well right now. That'll be some of the videos, but I also want to have videos that you can see things in practice, so that you can see children in the wild, and see how these practices look in real life. But the video that she is sharing is with 3 tips getting started on nature-based learning, and she talks about just some really practical things. I In the module I shared the titles of her 3 books, and I just really like her sort of Rachel Larimore works a lot with Claire Warden, the lady who wrote the article last week about the mycelium. These two are collaborators. So Rachel is here in the US and Claire is in Scotland. But Rachel's writing is really clear, it's really succinct. And so there's 3 books in the uh, listed. You don't need to buy any of them, but one is called Preschool Beyond Walls. This is a really great one for just the nuts and bolts about like really how to kind of an overview of how to implement it, specific for preschool age children. And so that one can be a great resource. Several of you mentioned that an end goal for you is to eventually own your own program, nature-based, either nature-based preschool or nature-based school, or do some camps or other offerings. So to be an entrepreneur. This one she wrote is called Establishing a Nature-Based Preschool. And the model that she talks about is partnering with a nature center. And so instead of starting completely from scratch, her model and what she did years ago was partnering with a nature center. And so there already was a nonprofit established, and then this became a program embedded into it. This is it's a pretty quick read. It's pretty relatively thin book, but I feel like this is kind of gets you started. Rachel also has a great Instagram account that you might decide, if you're on social media and you like Instagram, you could follow her on social media and kind of see some of the things that she shares. And you could also see on her website, there's a little survey called go, no go, or something like that. 5 go, no go, and it kind of helps you decide, are you ready to open a nature school? And if that's on the horizon, this would be a good book that I would recommend. And then the third one, I'm going to talk about this one more in a different module. It's called Evaluating Natureness, Measuring the Quality of Nature-Based Classrooms in Pre-K through 3rd grade. So there was a couple of interesting comments. One was in the discussion forum, but I think a couple were in the reflection pieces, where it's like, is this just a marketing ploy? Can anybody just say that they have a nature-based program and they, but they don't do anything different than they used to? It's like a traditional program that just rebranded themselves. Is it marketing? Well, this book answers that question, in that this really gives guidelines. It's not that you have to qualify based on them, but if you're a program and you're looking at changing your systems to become more nature-based, this is really handy. And what's neat about this one is that it's pre-K through grade 3. So it's not just for nature preschools, but it could be also for schools. And so in this, they talk about curriculum kind of practices, staffing, environment, community partnerships, and family engagement. And then there's these scales, or it's actually like you could do a pre-survey. You do a pre-survey, and it has these different things, and you can kind of rate yourself or rate your program where you are now, and then use this kind of as a tool on your journey to become more nature-based. So if you're familiar with Eckers or Eiders or Feckers as environmental rating scales, it's similar to that, except it takes the organizing concept of nature and puts it into that. So those are 3 different books by her. I really like her a lot, and I feel like she's worth checking out. So I hope you have a great week. If you have questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Otherwise, I'll check in next week. Bye-bye.